Welcome back to the Saint Libcon podcast. This is the part we call Intellectual Dissectional. This is where we take a song that's on the album, we dissect it, and tell you exactly the message that's behind the song. You know, our goal here is to use pop culture. It's typically used to rot our minds, whore out our women, criminalize our men. I'm gonna try to use it to stimulate our minds, uplift our women, make our men leaders. Let's get it.
Suppose we'll deal with anything. I suppose you'll eat a dick. You suppose we'll fall for anything. I propose you eat a dick. People ask, what run for president? I have to say, I can't tell a lie. If I did, I'd probably win that shit. It wasn't for the FBI, CIA, NSA, NRO, DNI, AAP, LFB, GOO, GAMNCC. What's my role? We look at everything to and show. You ain't told a lie. Tug at your soul. In your head a bit, but you so woke. So I even try, but they suppose you'll deal with anything. I suppose they'll eat a dick. You suppose we'll put up with anything. I propose you'll eat a dick. The first line above everything is you only got one way to go. Open your eyes, this ain't everything. That's exactly how they control your vote. Homophobe, Islamophobe, blackface, white robe. It's all they know, it's all a show. You need more than fear and hope to get my vote. No, I wanna know all your plans for shit. As a matter of fact, what you gonna do for me? You gotta show that you stand for shit and not just be part of the DNC. But you suppose we'll deal with anything. I suppose you'll eat a dick. You suppose we'll fall for anything. I propose you'll eat a dick. If you say you give me some free shit, I have to say, my vote you can't buy. End of the day, it's mental imprisonment. Someone will pay. Stop telling that lie. EBT, HUD, Section 8, imprison me. Depend on me, that makes me sick. Say it to me, and I say, eat a dick, prick. A couple of rules, here are some jewels. Give you some tools, fix up our schools. Fuck NEA, fuck AFT. Ain't worked for us since 1916. Scream, our girls and boys, and failing schools and shit. Don't give us a choice, it makes me sick. As long as our schools tight as the codes and shit, you play us like fools. Eat a dick, heard the calls, build no walls. Jamil Shaw, bitch, you live with thoughts. You can't see, you represent me. No safety, you let it be a sanctuary. But you suppose we deal with anything. I suppose you'll need a dig. You suppose we'll put up with anything. I propose you'll need a dig. Take my guns, tax and come. Spread the slum till gentrification. Aboard our kids, export our gigs. Eat a dick if the election is rigged. Lock up our men, commercial prison. Socialism, you will not win. Eat a dick, eat a dick. Eat a dick, eat a dick, eat a dick, baby.
The song we're doing today is counterculture. Counterculture is simple. We take a look at most of the issues going on in the black community, and we say, why the hell are we messing with this nonsense? Take a look at it and we go, is this where our values really lie? We're going to talk about it. Let's start out with the hook. The hook happens to be a little controversial. Why? Because it says, you suppose we'll deal with anything, and I suppose that you'll eat a dick. Now listen, I can see why people say that's unnecessary. But look at the issues that are going on in our community, and look at how these people that are supposed to be saving our community are handling it. It's disrespectful. It's unnecessary. And this is a response to that. So the song starts, people ask while I run for president. I have to say, I can't tell a lie. If I did, I'd probably win that shit. If it wasn't for the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, NRO, and the DNI, AAP, LFB, GOO, GAMNZ. Now listen, here's what I'm saying. I would never run for president. Give me a break. First of all, the FBI would ruin me. Secondly, this isn't what this is about. What this part of the verse is about is that we are living under a surveillance state. Now, you might think, oh, why is this important to black people? Because you're Americans. Don't let other people tell you you're not. It's one of the ways they try to control you. If it's not specifically about black people, it's not your concern. I'm telling you right now, it is your concern. It's your concern that we have intelligence agencies that are completely out of control, and at any moment they can ruin your life. Now you say, I've heard the FBI, the CIA, who are these other groups? Director of National Intelligence, the National Reconnaissance Organization, the NSA. Everybody knows the NSA by now. But then you say, what are these other acronyms? AAP. You gotta listen. It's AAPL, Apple. It's FB, Facebook. It's GOOG, Google. AMNZ, Amazon. Now you think our intelligence agencies are a threat to our privacy, to our freedom? These big tech companies are really the threat. And again, this is about you. And I hear a lot of young people when I talk about this threat. They say, I don't have anything to hide. I don't care. They can have all my information. Well, you're right. Not many people have these big secrets that they want to hide that they couldn't let the government know. It's not what it's about. You see, it's about when the inevitable happens and men who possess evilness act as men who possess evilness, and they run this country, and they run these big tech firms, and they want to take advantage of you more than they are already. Think about it. Google. You can't open up an email without them reading it. And after they read it, they take that information and they manipulate you by selling you advertisements based on stuff that you've been talking about. Huh. You got nothing to hide though. Amazon sets up their Alexa in your bedroom and listens to you make love to your wife. Think I'm playing? They have people that listen in. They're not listening to you live. They record this stuff. Then they send it to these people and they listen to it. And they say, we're just checking to make sure that the voice inscription matches so Alexa can understand people. And sure, they're spying on you. And guess what? One day, if you happen to be a person of consequence and you do something that's not of their liking, they have you taped. They know all about you. I'll tell you a story about Martin Luther King. Apparently, Dr. King was a freak. He liked women. And the FBI, I guess he did have something to hide. And they recorded it. And they used it against him. One time they sent him a box of the recordings, of the videos, of the photographs. And they told him if by a certain date he didn't kill himself, they would expose it all. These are the people that run the intelligence agencies. This was the man who the FBI building is still named after. So, you have nothing to hide, I'm sure. You're not a freak like Dr. King. I'm positive. But this is a warning. Last episode, we talked about the race war. And we can look at these tech companies and ask how many brothers are running them. All the social justice fanfare they put out there, all the overtures they put out for equality and all this, making the world better. Look at their corporate makeup. Not a black face up in there. No one's representing you. Trust me. Trust me. And the ones that are, they don't have your interest at heart. They don't have anyone's interest at heart except the company, their shareholders in their pockets. These companies are evil as hell. And they want to do nothing but manipulate you, the information that you get, so you can be used. This does concern you. It concerns all of us as Americans, and we're talking about right here. And you should make sure that people that you support politically should be talking about this as well. What's next? What's my role when we look at everything? It's to ensure you ain't told a lie. Tug at your soul and your head a bit, but you so woke, so why even try? Brief statement on wokeness. Those people that are claiming they're so woke, so in tune with the needs of our community, they're the biggest idiots. Trust me. They've been co-opted by the CIA. You say, what the hell are you talking about? Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. Here's some inside info. There are psychological operations that are put out through social media in this country. And what do? They have you stay stuffed and repeat things and believe things that are just ludicrous. And I can always tell when you've been compromised, because you say stuff like, you're on your keyboard warrior, I'm just gonna put this here. Post something snarky and political. Here's a good one. Facts matter. Have you ever said facts matter? You're compromised. What about this one? I like it. It's another good one. Walls don't work. Have you ever thought walls don't work? You live around walls, you're surrounded by walls, but walls don't work. You believe that. Been co-opted. Could go on about this forever. Should be a digression session. I'm not going to go there. This is what we're talking about. People that feel they're so woke and they're so in tune with what we need. They're actually in tune with pop culture. They're actually in tune with what the deep state wants you to think. And these are the cheerleaders. These are the loudest people in the room. And this is for those type of people. They would only listen. But they won't listen to anything that disagrees with them because they're too woke. So why would I even try? Well, maybe some of y'all can wake them up for real. But until then, I'll just speak to you because you're smart enough to listen. Coming out of the hook, we get into the second verse. Here it goes. Starts. The first lie above everything is that you only got one way to go. Open your eyes. This ain't everything, but that's exactly how they control your vote. Listen. It's simple to manipulate black people. We're emotional. Someone put it to me the other day as we come from a position of love in everything. In other words, we don't rationally look at things to make decisions. So, if we accept that to be somewhat truthful, you would understand the way they manipulate you with your emotions. Look at the pilot, episode 0. I talk about it in depth. But the bottom line is, if you think these guys over here hate you, the Republicans, every one of them, conservatives, black conservatives, anyone that doesn't sit right in the front row of the Democrat Plantation, anybody that's not on that, they hate you. And if you think they hate you, you only got one way to go with these jerks. That's exactly how they control your vote. How do they do it? They talk about people being homophobes, Islamophobes, blackface, white robes. It's all they know, but it's all a show. Say you need more than fear and hope to get my vote. Here's what kills me about this. If you want credibility, you need to be consistent. And we're just not consistent on this stuff. See, because for the last 60, 70 years, we've been taught that this group of people hate you. Anything they do is hateful. And because these people say all the right things, but piss in our face, but we like to hear things and it stokes our emotions and we fall for it. Because they do that. They love us, no matter what. We give them a benefit of the doubt, no matter what. We let things slide, no matter what. And then the media doesn't report on it, and then we just forget about it. Or the media over here, we're talking about Republicans or conservatives. They harp on it, and they over-report it, and they whip up your emotions, and they reinforce that these guys hate you because you're being controlled by the media, which controls the Democrat Party. Yes, you heard it here first. The Democrat Party doesn't control the media. The media controls the Democrat Party. And they're controlling your dumb ass. How do I know? Let me give you an example. I don't even remember this jerk's name. I should have looked it up before I started this. But the Virginia governor. Let's talk about the Virginia governor. What happened with the governor of Virginia? He's a Democrat. He's a Democrat. And what happened was somebody showed that 1980 something, in the 80s, this guy on his yearbook page, his personal page in the yearbook, he had a picture of someone in blackface. You go, oh my gosh, at a press conference about it, it was terrible. Everybody remembers the blackface, right? Do you remember that, right? I know you're going, yeah, he got, it was pretty bad. Everyone was up in arms. Guy's still governor, by the way. But here's the psyop. Here's why you've been fooled. There wasn't a picture of him on his yearbook in blackface. There was a picture of him and another dude. One of them was in blackface, and the other one had a freaking KKK robe on. A KKK robe. Hold on. You don't even remember that? Oh, now you remember. No, it's coming to me. No, it's coming to me. You're right. He had a KKK robe on. Well, somebody did. I don't know if it was him. I mean, the hood was down. Are you fucking kidding me? You guys let that slide. You guys let that slide. I want every person that has some shit to say on social media about Trump telling Ilhan Omar and 4 other ladies of color, 3 other ladies of color, to go back to where they ever came from. I got a video on it. I ain't going to it. I'm not going into it right now. Watch the video. But every one of you that had something on social media to say about that, I want to check your social media account right now. What did you say about the governor of Virginia in a KKK robe? What did you say about that? Nothing. He's a Democrat. The media didn't tell you to say nothing about it. You see, if they're Democrats, they get the benefit of the doubt. Joe Biden, he gets the benefit of the doubt. He was an anti-integration politician. Literally, he wanted to stop schools from being integrated. He gets the benefit of the doubt. Oh, he didn't really mean it. When it's brought up, we go into this national discussion about busing and Kamala Harris. No, you've been fooled. This guy was a segregationist. Look at his record. Look at things he has said. Trump says, we got to redo our immigration. We got people coming from shithole countries. Everyone's like, yeah, it's racist. He's a racist. Everyone, I know what is in his heart. He's a racist. He hates black people. He said countries where a bunch of black people come from are shitholes. He's a racist. Joe Biden, he said, when asked, what's the difference between these poor kids in Iowa? They're still doing pretty darn good in school. And you have a similar situation with poor kids in New York City, Washington, D.C. And they're doing really bad in school. What is the difference between these two school systems? And how can we make them more equal? And Joe Biden's his response. Look it up. Look this shit up. Look it up. This guy you're gonna vote for. Joe Biden said, well, in Iowa, the percentage of minority students is like 1, 2, 3%, And then it's like the vast majority of these students in DC are black kids. And what I'm trying to say is you just have to look at the product that you're starting with, and that determines a lot of the outcome. What? Joe Biden just said that these white kids in Iowa perform better in school because there's no black kids there. And these black kids in DC perform poorly in school because they're black. And the outcome of our educational system is based on what you start with. Look it up. But he's not racist. No, he's not racist. No, I give him the benefit of doubt. He was Obama's vice president. If you want any credibility, you gotta be consistent. If this guy says something and it's racist, then it's racist. If this guy says something even worse, but he's a Democrat, guess what? It's still racist. And then you say, oh, okay, maybe they're broke. I don't know. But I'm still gonna support this guy because I know all these guys. That's how they control your vote. Listen to me, that's how they control your vote. So, I'm gonna move on. I wanna know all your plans for shit. As a matter of fact, what you're gonna do for me. You gotta show that you stand for shit and not just be part of the DNC. I think I've made the point. What we're trying to convey in this episode is that you can't just let people that have a big D on their chest, Democrat, slide and just do whatever they want to do. Because like the hook says, they suppose you'll deal with anything. I suppose they'll eat a dick. But they suppose that you'll fall for anything. I propose that they eat a dick. Why? If you say, you give me some free shit, I have to say, my vote you can't buy. Because at the end of the day, it's mental imprisonment. Someone will pay. Stop telling that lie. Nothing in this world is free. You see, to have things, everything you see around here was produced by somebody. And that person that produced that was compensated, was paid for their labor. Now, of course, the Democrats, who love to talk about free shit, give away free stuff, they'll make you think that it's really free. And they probably in their minds think it's really free because they used to have slaves and labor was free. And so that makes sense to them. But that's not how things work anymore. The truth is, nothing in this world is free. So when you hear about free healthcare and free education and free food and free anything, it's not free. Someone has to make that and provide it to you, get it to the store where you pick it up. They have to deliver those healthcare services. So when they're telling you that this stuff is free, where's the money coming from? It's coming from taxes. So the government's paying for it. No, the government doesn't pay for shit. You pay for stuff. Every time you buy something, you pay sales tax. Every time you get a check, they take money out of it. Income tax. Property taxes, when you pay for your license, you're getting taxed every which way you turn, okay? And that's what's paying for this free stuff, all right? There's no free lunch. There's no free education. There's no free healthcare. Get over it. Someone's paying for that. Now, why would they tell you that it's free? Because they're pandering to you. Because they know you'll believe it. And they know you'll go, ooh, free shit. Ooh, he's gonna give me free stuff. This guy, he wants me to work for it. This guy wants to give me free stuff. Because they think you're lazy. And they go, if we tell lazy people that we'll give them free stuff, they'll go, vote for that dude. I can remain to be lazy. It's insulting. No, I want you to work for stuff. Now I give some examples of free stuff. EBT, who's running the free stuff, HUD, Section 8. But it's there to imprison me. That's what it says. Depend on me that makes me sick. Say it to me and I'll say eat it there. Government dependence is one of the tactics that are used to control our population. This is low-hanging fruit, right? We've all heard about it because it's so pervasive in certain densely populated metropolitan urban centers. The welfare is just, it's run amok. It's being taken advantage of. It's being overused. It's creating disincentives for people not to work, to not have families. We know all about it, okay? But they want to continue to push this on us. Everything is free. Everything is free. What have you gotten free? What have you gotten free? Some people might say, oh, the poorest of the poor, they've gotten really good free stuff. A place to live, Section 8. They got EBT, they can go out with dignity, by the way. Credit card, type, swipe it, and get food and Pampers, and that's free. And I ask you this. People living in public housing, living with public welfare assistance, is that true freedom? Is that what you aspire to live? Is that the pinnacle of your existence? Is that the top of your mountain? No. Those safety nets are there for a reason, because we all fall down. And at times, many of us will need assistance so we can get back up. It's temporary. It's supposed to be temporary. And these guys over here, because they want to say, we're conservative. We don't want to just give people free stuff. We want them to work for it, so we'll have these programs, but at some point they got to get cut off. We got to limit them. And then the media go, Republicans hate you. You're black, so you're poor. That's what they think. You're black, so you're poor. And so you're going to want free shit. And these guys want to limit how much free shit you can get, so they hate you. But these guys, the Democrats, they want you to have free stuff. They want you to be in a position where you're going to need free stuff. Because that's how they control your vote. See how this all works? They're pushing that. It's crippling, man. It's crippling. Let's move on. A couple of rules. Here are some jewels. I'm going to give y'all some tools. This is what you need to say to the Democrat. I'm going to give y'all some tools. Right? Here's some jewels. I'm going to give you some tools. Here's some advice if you really want to help us out. Fix up our schools. Fuck the NEA. It's the National Education Association, I think. Teachers Association. Fuck the AFT, American Federation of Teachers, I think. It's another teacher association. Ain't worked for us since 1916. Scream. One of those started in 1916. And let me tell you about the teachers' unions. Look at what happened with charter schools in DC. They were going to expand charter schools for all these kids in DC. And all these kids that went to failing schools, and these schools have been failing for years, decades. We're going to go to some charter schools that were built and organized to ensure that they would get a good education. The best opportunity to get a good education. These kids had a golden ticket. And the teachers union came in and said, That's going to take money out of our pocket. Shut it down. Send those black kids back to that school that's been failing, probably failed their parents. And we can continue this scam of generational ignorance. You see, if you're poor, your kid's going to go to a bad school. And your kid's going to be uneducated. And then your kid's going to be poor. And they're going to send their kid to a bad school. And it just keeps going on and on. That's the system. Who's been running the system? Democrats. They've been running the public schools forever. They've completely taken over kindergarten all the way through graduate school, PhD. Everything that has an education is run by these leftist liberals, and you know it. And how they doing for us? How things going? Oh, but they talk so good. They say such nice things. You don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. Look at the actual outcome. Our schools are crap. These people are running it. And these people over here, conservatives, what do they talk about? School choice. Oh, we can't have school choice. They take money away from these people, from the public schools that are already failing. And divert it over here, the public school's gonna fail even worse. They've been failing. They can't do worse. They gonna put it with some charter schools. Give them a chance. But no, you're a freaking heretic in the black community. You talk about school choice. You would think that's what they would tell you on the media, except it's not the truth. When you take a look at real data, just ask yourself, ask your mama, ask your neighbor, ask your friend, ask your kids. Would you like better opportunity for your kid to go to a better school? If that was in the form of a charter school, would you like that opportunity for your kid to go there? The answer is yes. Of course it is. Let me give you an example. Personal example. My kid is going into kindergarten and trying to find her a school. We look at all the schools, go like kindergarten through 8th or kindergarten through 5th or whatever in our neighborhood. I live in South Central Los Angeles. Every school, when you look at the standardized tests, are doing horrible. Okay? So, what does Los Angeles say? They say, we're gonna give you some choices. You can go to a magnet school or a charter school and you put in your name and you apply, and they have a lottery. Real balls and numbers. And if your number gets called, you can go to a school and your kid might be able to escape this cycle of poverty, right? So we applied to every school that we could get to, that we could get our kid to and get to work, pick her up and get home. And we applied to every magnet and charter school in Los Angeles that we could possibly have an opportunity to send my kid so she could get a good education. Waitlisted. Oh, you're on the 35th page of the wait list. You're number 633 on the wait list. And you tell me those 632 people ahead of me, they support the American Federation of Teachers and want to keep everybody in their failing schools? No, they're pissed like me. Gotta get away from this. If you're locked in on this, if you're locked in on the Democrat Party, you're gonna have to be locked in on a bunch of stuff that is against your interest. Think I'm playing? I just gave you an example. Our girls and boys in failing schools and shit don't give us a choice. It makes me sick. As long as our schools tie to zip codes and shit, you play us like fools. Eat a dick. As long as where you live determines the quality of your education, You're stuck in the system. Don't let them tell you anything different. That is the system. And they want to keep it that way. Think about it. Education, information, what is more important? There's a few things. Your family, your relationship with God. If you want to look at the outcome of your life, what is more important than those three things? And they're tearing them all apart. Let's move on. Oh, I heard the calls. Build no walls. Jamil Shaw, bitch, you live with gods. You can't see. You represent me. There's no safety because you let it be a sanctuary. Let me tell you, I spoke a lot about it in the last segment of this episode. Don't fall for it. Don't let these fools tell you that you have to support outright open border illegal immigration. I'm telling you, you don't. And you don't, by the way. I speak to my people. I know where my people are at with this. Okay? Again, not a unique African American issue. It's an American issue and one that affects us. Now, you've heard the calls. Build no walls. Who's Jamil Shaw? If you know who Jamil Shaw is, a young brother here in Los Angeles who got killed by a illegal alien. The guy should have been deported, but he wasn't. You hear this term sanctuary city. What exactly is a sanctuary city? I'm going to tell you. If an illegal immigrant gets arrested in Los Angeles, a sanctuary city, and he serves his time, the local city goes to jail. All right, he's ready to get out of jail. What the law says is you are supposed to contact Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and they say, hey, we've got this guy. We're unsure of his immigration status. Run him through the database, and if you find out that he's here illegally, we'll hand him over and you can deport him out of the country. No, that's what the law says. What sanctuary cities say is, if you're a criminal and you're here illegally, once you've done your time, we're just going to let you back out on the street. And there were so many different examples of these people that you let back out and they kill Americans. And you say Americans will kill Americans, blacks kill blacks. You're right. So why is this any different? It's not, except we don't need any more people killing us. You don't support open borders. You're like me. You support immigration. We're a nation of immigrants. I love cultures from everywhere. It's what gives the flavor of America. The point is, you are like me, like most Americans who value legal immigration. If I go to Tijuana, if I go to Mexico, and I come back, drive my car back through the border crossing, I have to show my ID. I'm an American. I have to show my ID to get back into the country, but I'm supposed to be okay with anybody walking up in here and not showing their ID? Give me a break. You're being manipulated. But these people over here hate you, and they definitely hate immigrants, right? The conservatives, the Republicans, you know what we're talking about. They hate those people, and those people are brown, and so they hate you, and because they hate you, no matter what these fools say, you got to go with it. So let's go with it. Open borders, let them in. You're being fooled. go back to the hook. Then, sum up a couple things. You want to take my guns? You want to tax my income? You want to spread the slums until gentrification? Abort our kids. Export our gigs. Eat a dick if the election is rigged. Lock up our men. Commercial prison. Socialism. You will not win, but you can eat a dick. Here's the bottom line on all this. I'm a proponent of the Second Amendment. I think you figured that out by now. And if you think it benefits our community to say everybody that is law-abiding, we're going to limit your access to protect yourself, you have been fooled. I'm telling you, these people want to take your guns. Look at the most gun restrictive cities in America. Chicago, New Orleans, Los Angeles. These are where we get murdered every day. You gotta ask yourself, what's up with that? And if these places have such restrictive gun laws, how's that gonna stop me from getting killed when y'all take all the guns? And the real issue is, and the reason we have the Second Amendment is, really, when some crazy dictator gets in power and takes over this country and wants to take our security forces and use them against us, how are we going to defend ourselves? So that was a real thing back when they were forming this country. Real concerns, real problems. And the reason our government can never be tyrannical is because there's millions and millions of guns on the street. And law-abiding citizens can protect themselves. But they want to take that away from you. The Democrats want to make sure that you are completely vulnerable. If you want protection, you go to them. You're being tricked. They want your guns. They want to tax your income. I hear some of these socialists talking about 70% marginal tax rates. I'm not even going to get into what a marginal tax rate is. Here's the deal. They want to take huge, huge portions of your money. And they want to take it and they want to spread it around to everybody. Okay? If you don't want to work, if you don't want to get up off your ass, then that sounds good to you. All right? So raise everybody's taxes. I don't care. You think you're going to get the benefit. Okay. Well, that's not the people I talk to. People like that will get zero value out of this podcast, and they switched off after the first 5 minutes. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. And you know when you go out and work your ass off, you don't want the government coming in and taking 7 cents out of every 10 cents you make. Give me a break. They want to spread the slum until gentrification. I will never forget. I will never, ever forget Boys in the Hood. It's Lawrence Fishburne. He's schooling the kids in the neighborhood about gentrification. And he's telling them, he's saying, see, what happens is, I'm not even going to try to do Lawrence Fishburne, just keep it talking like I do. So he says, what happens is, they run down the neighborhood to the point where it's so terrible that people can then come in and buy it for cheap, flip it, make it a beautiful place, and have all white people move in. And I said, that is the most conspiratorial bull crap I've ever heard. And then I lived 40 years. And it's happening. And it's happening. And I look at who are running these areas. Who is in charge? Who is my representative right now, representing my neighborhood where this gentrification is going on? It's Karen Bass. She's a Democrat. It's Kamala Harris. She's a senator. And I ask myself, why would they let all this happen? What's going on down there, by the way, is they're building out the metro, the train, public transportation. It's supposed to be sweet. And so all the infrastructure is going on around it, and people are moving in, and it's happening. I have no problem with the community changing. I'm for inclusion, I'm for diversity. If you want to sell your house, have somebody else that doesn't look like us move in, it's your prerogative. Hope you make a lot of money. But what my concern is, if you don't want to sell your house, if you don't want to sell your business, but now, as we're in the last throes of gentrification, 2019, 2020, the train will be built. The neighborhood will be changed, and who will be owning the businesses then? Because in the last throes of gentrification, they tear up the sidewalks, and they tear up the street, and they make sure that no one can get to your business. They say, oh yeah, we'll compensate you, whatever. But you have a real hard time hanging on. And then what do? They send in the health inspectors. What? Yeah. They send in the building code people. They go in and they go, this place is messed up. It's gonna cost you $150,000 to fix it. And if you don't, you're gonna have to sell it. Now you're being extorted out of your property. You could have sold it, got top dollar. But guess what? In those businesses, they employ scores of people. So we sell it. God knows what they're going to turn it into. Nice condos or something. Now we got 12, 15, 25 people out of work. Oh, but you made $2 million. You sold the place. Great. So now we got one person sitting on $2 million and 25 people out of work. How can we let you keep your property, get some investors in here, make this an incredible building, everybody keep working, keep producing value for the community, and make sure that everybody gets paid? Because as this community evolves, we should participate in that evolution. We shouldn't have to just get a quick payoff and dip out. 20 years from now, property you sell for $2 million is going to be worth 20. And you ask why we don't have any generational wealth in the black community. Because of stuff like this. And when you ask for help for people that are completely capable, they're going to find a reason why not to help you. And I look at my Democrat-led representatives. I'm like, Miss Bass, represent Bass. Karen, can I call you Karen? Where is our representation on this? Why is this all happening? Why does it happen in every damn urban community across America? Why does this happen? Who's running the show? Where are we getting moved to? Nobody cares. But I told you in the first segment of this episode, you're about to be irrelevant. It doesn't matter to them. They're too busy pandering to the new wave of Democratic voters. Don't worry about keeping you in your neighborhood, making sure that you have opportunities to thrive. You got time for that. Abort our kids. If you're a Democrat, you have to be for abortion at any time, for any reason. Sick. But again, this is exactly what happens when you're 100% wedded to a particular ideology, because that ideology, part of that ideology, is that the opposing ideology hates you. Now, no matter what they want to do, You got to be for it. Episode 4, wait for it. Episode 4, we're going to talk about the whole scheme behind abortion in the black community. It is real. And let me tell you something. What am I going to tell you? That you cannot be pro-life and accepted in the Democrat Party. So, what they are telling you is, if you are not down for killing your own born children, you gotta go somewhere else. And you go, well, I can't want to go over here because, and then here's the CIA tactics, the PSYOP. Remember I told you about this. This is what you say. Everyone, all right, leftists, liberals, brothers, black liberals. What are you thinking right now when it comes to abortion? You don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about that stuff. All I know is I'm triggered to say, okay, abortion. Black conservatives talking about abortion. What do I say? Oh, here it is, straight from the CIA manual. Oh, you're so worried about children before they're born, but after they're born, you don't want to educate them or pay for them to live or take care of them or provide them health care. So they're so valuable before they're born. But once they're born, you don't care anything about them because you're a conservative or you're a Republican. So, since you don't care about kids after they're born, we're going to go with these guys that want to murder our kids before they're born. We'll support them. 40% of abortions in America, black women. We're 10, 13% of the population. No one cares. No one on the left cares. As a matter of fact, they push for more of it and they want you to pay for it. They want tax money. Remember, it's not free. They want your tax money to pay for it. It's crazy. You got to be for that. Or if not, you're an outcast. It's crazy. Export our gigs. Want to send our jobs overseas. I'll tell you, this is kind of a mistake that has been made in Washington, period. It's this globalization. People are finally figuring it out. To have companies that are based here shut down, send the jobs overseas so they can make more money and sell us cheap goods is not a win-win for anybody. Not over here. It's a win-win for people in China. It's a freaking trade deal. I'm black. What's that have to do with me? Well, did you ever work in manufacturing? Those jobs that used to be in the urban centers, the big cities where we are populated, have gone overseas. And now, there's a lot of us that are still there, but there's no jobs. Jobs that we used to have in manufacturing are gone. Entry-level domestic jobs that we used to have to set an example for our children, to see us go to work and be productive every day, are being taken by illegal immigrants. And we just gotta sit back and say, at least they say nice things while they... Come on, man. You're being fooled. Now, when I wrote this song, it was the height of Russiagate, right? Trump might have been colluding with Russia to rig the election. So I had to have it out because if this guy, if Trump was found that he really did collude with Russia, which I knew he didn't, if there was a rigged election, cut him out too. But that wasn't the case, was it? Nope. Lock up our men, commercial prison. Listen, if you don't understand that the Clinton crime bill set in motion mass incarceration in this country and throughout our community, then you just don't want to believe the truth. And Clinton figured it out. He said, get in trouble 3 times. I don't care if the 3rd time you stole a pack of bubble gum, hyperbole, going to jail for 30 years. Oh, drug charge? Going to jail for 15 years. He packed the prisons. But it's Clinton. Bill freaking Clinton. We love Bill Clinton. They used to call Bill Clinton the first black president. Bill Clinton was the original first black president. And he was locking up other black people. And we didn't care. Did not care. Still, because he's a Democrat, he must love us. And oh man, he had all types of nice stuff to say. He's really, really smooth talker. So, all on that. Socialism. This is the new thing. You're not going to win with socialism. Let me just tell you what socialism is. First of all, what the Democratic clowns are kicking to you is not necessarily real socialism, okay? To a certain extent, the Democrats are not necessarily saying that because I don't think anyone has actually admitted that they want the government to just completely own the entire economy. But they want them to own the entire healthcare system. They're going to run our healthcare. Are you kidding me? So these Democrats that you got to support are walking us towards this socialism. And I'm letting you know, look at Venezuela. It ain't cool. You don't want this. The point of all of this is what? If you do not start to counter this culture, the culture of mediocrity, the culture of criminality, the culture of miseducation, the culture of not valuing human life, the culture of dependency. If you do not counter this culture, we are going to be stuck in the same situation that we're in today, where too many of us are not participating in the American dream. And our goal here is to stop that, put an end to that. And what does that mean? That means you got to get away from this. You got to stop accepting everything that they put out there, knowing good and damn well it ain't good for us. So I give you a choice. Live by your principles. Hold people in the Democratic Party accountable to deliver on those principles, or they cannot have your vote. If our people actually demanded that our interests actually be served, and these people, you will see, they will refuse. And I think that will wake people up to the fact that they're being manipulated. And they will no longer throw their vote for free at these people. And these people in the Democrat Party will have to change, and they will have to say, you know what? The lip service ain't gonna work no more. We're gonna have to actually do something that is in their interest. And that is what we want.